Welcome to the point of view. It's your boy Mike D, aka DDE80, aka 13 Wonder of the World, here on Tuesday, October 29th, 2024 at 10:15 p.m. late at night. Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reezy, of course. Shout out to M Breezy, my little buddy, as well as my niece Naya, and my sister. I love all y'all. Thank y'all for listening to the point of view. I know I've been off for a couple of days, but I'm back. Actually, the reason why I was off, I got injured again, like a little small injury, but thank God I'm getting better. But I'm now back at with the point of view. Uh, Yeah, I got a lot to talk about, especially Sunday night football. But I'm gonna talk about Sunday football tomorrow. Um, but today I just want to talk about a little bit about the wrestling. Monday Night Raw, of course, as well as NXT that went on tonight. Really don't know the card for AEW yet, but I'll find that out tomorrow. I think I know most of the card because tomorrow is their Halloween show on TBS, not TNT as well. Man, let me just talk about a couple of things. Let me talk about this World Series for a minute. It looks like the Yankees were out of commission, but guess what? I think they're gonna come back in. They're gonna at least try to make it a series. I think that now that they have they're going to win. Looks like they're going to win game 4. I told everybody that the Yankees were not going to get swept, and the Yankees played with pride tonight. Even looks like Aaron Judge finally got a little bit of his back momentum back. Soto as well. They were able to get a couple of hits out. Torres with a couple of with a home run. But if the Dodgers when the Dodgers, and I will say this, I think the Dodgers will win the World Series. And if the Dodgers win the World Series, Freddie Freeman will be the MVP. Freddie Freeman has hit a home run in every game in these World Series. And he's been putting people on 3 home runs, solo home runs. He's been hitting the ball. The bat has been extra kind to him in these World Series. It has not been kind to Aaron Judge. And that's one thing he's going to have to reevaluate, as well as Soto, because Soto, even though Soto's been doing this thing, there's rumors out there talking about he may want to come to the Dodgers after the season's over. I think the Yankees keep him. It's tough. I'm doing the point of view, and I'm watching the Pelicans and the Warriors play. Good win by the Mavericks earlier. Luka, Kyrie, and Gafford and all those boys on the Dallas team. Washington, they played a great game. And things like that. But let me get back to the Dodgers and the Yankees. I think that this will be over with in Game 5. I think that the Dodgers will win Game 5. There's no way they want to come back to New York and play a Game 6. If the Yankees go in the game, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. The Yankees are capable of pushing this series to 7. I don't care what anybody says. All you Dodger fans out there, I know that you guys are happy right now, but I will tell you this. The Yankees are still a team that can push this series. They may have been down and out right now, but I'll tell you this. They're capable of coming back, making this thing happen. I've seen it happen too many times in these World Series where teams have had teams down 3-0, 3-1, and they've came back and made a series. So you have to be careful with that. If I'm the Dodgers, yeah, chalk it up tonight to the Yankees were just better than us. We go back home and we take care of business. Don't let the Yankees linger around in the World Series. Also, man, let me talk about Anthony Richardson, man. Anthony Richardson's been benched. He has not been playing as well. I never want to give up on him. I know they're going to bring Flacco out. And the reason why they're bringing Flacco back out is because they know that Flacco is a Super Bowl quarterback that could get the job done. And that's why he's still in the league. He's a backup quarterback now, but he's won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl over 10 years ago. So let me put that in mind. Baltimore Ravens, it was Ray Lewis last year in the league, and him and Ray Lewis were able to beat the great Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers. Let me tell you something. The 49ers have been to the Super Bowl now, what, 3 times? If I'm not mistaken. 3 times since, Colin Kaepernick has not been playing in the NFL. They were able to get there and get the job done. So, it's kind of tough to see that, but it is what it is, And the Warriors are playing without Steph Curry or Andrew Wiggins, and they're putting up a fight against the Pelicans, who have everybody except Murray, and a nice three-pointer right there to make the lead 51-50 New Orleans. New Orleans is a team that could possibly have a top 5 run in the Western Conference. Zion with a great shot there. He's looking more leaner, and he's getting better. Draymond Green and Zion are doing what they got to do. They're contending against each other, which is a great matchup here between Zion and Draymond. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about wrestling for a minute. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw from last night. Monday Night Raw last night, of course, was 2 hours. Me and my boy, shout out to Fadeaway. We've been talking about this for months, and it's been happening now for a month. I think wrestling has went to 2 hours on USA for a month now. And the thing about it is this, and I will say this, and I want people to understand why I'm saying this. I don't like the 2-hour format that USA has put on Monday Night Raw again. I can understand it on SmackDown on Fridays because everybody's used to it. I understand it with AEW and TNA and everything because they're used to it. On Monday Night Raw, let me break something down to everybody. There's a lot of people that are not getting the shine that they want to get because of them being on a 2-hour show. You still have great people on the show, but you don't have who you need to have on there. And it's because of the 2 hours. A lot of stars are not getting their shine. Man, so, although I don't agree with it, I think Netflix, they'll go back to 3 hours. Zion again with another shot. Zion's cutting up right now. Him and B.I. is having a great game so far. Warriors down by 5. But as I tell people this, and it's just a thing about it, who shot that three-pointer? Gary Payton Jr.? Who was that? Gary Payton? I don't know who that was that just shot that three-pointer for the Warriors. But like I say, the Warriors are giving the Pelicans a lot, even though Steph and Wiggins are not playing. Another shot there. I think that was Herb Jones for 3, if I'm not mistaken. Great hustle there. And Brandon for 3. Looked like 3 balls going in for the Warriors and the Pelicans. Herb Jones looks like he's hurting his shoulder a little bit. The Pelicans don't need no more injuries. They already got Murray out for a while. Ingram, great shot by Ingram and the foul. But yeah, back to wrestling like I was talking about with wrestling, man. I think, we're going to see the Usos, of course, team back up with Roman Reigns, the original bloodline. Sami Zayn, they're trying to make it suspect where Sami Zayn is not down with the bloodline, but Sami Zayn is going to be right back into it with the bloodline, and we're going to see what happens with that. We do know that at Crown Jewel it will be Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the new bloodline. I think it's going to be Solo and Tonga Low and Tama Tonga. I don't think Jacob Fatu, he's going to be a major part of it, because I think that Jacob Fatu is going to be the one that probably causes Jimmy and Jay and Roman the match at Crown Jewel. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, they're having a great rivalry, and we're going to see what happens with them this Saturday. I do believe that Bronson Reed could shock the world and beat Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. I still don't know who's going to win this match between Cody and Gunther. Let me say this. If Gunther wins the match at Crown Jewel, it's going to be because of some type of interference from Kevin Owens or somebody. Because remember, Kevin Owens fights Randy Orton at Crown Jewel. They're setting up for Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes to fight at Saturday night's main events, which is coming up in December. So that's going to be another situation there that everybody's going to want to tend to as well. So let me break all this down to everybody. The Raw side, and then I'll get into the card. But so far, Crown Jewel is shaping up to be a great event, which comes on here in the South, 12 o'clock Saturday morning. So we have Kevin Owens against Randy Orton. We have Gunther and Cody Rhodes, who's probably going to be the main event in the champion for champion match. You're going to have Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. I still don't know who's going to win that match. I think that Liv Morgan is probably going to win that match on account of either Raquel Rodriguez or because of Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany Stratton is going to cause Nia Jax that match and probably cash in and become the SmackDown Women's Champion this coming Saturday. That could be possibly what happens. I don't know yet. But I know that if Nia Jax doesn't win and she has anything to do with it, yes, she's going to cash in and Nia Jax is going to lose the title. Okay. So with that being said, let me also talk about this. That's another match that's at Crown Jewel. Then you got to remember they have the women's tag team title match between Damage Control, Jakara Jackson, Lash Legend, Piper and Chelsea, and of course the tag team champions, the women tag team champions, Bianca and Jade. That's another match that's going to happen, and that's good that they're going to have the women out there for that. So you got two women matches that are going to take place at Crown Jewel. All right. Then I think about this too. Let's go back to what I just said about the situation with Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. Because of what they did tonight on NXT to Rhea Ripley may cause Liv Morgan that match. So we'll see what happens with that as well as that comes for the missing pieces with that. And of course those are the only matches that I know that's going to happen. And I don't know if they're going to add any more matches. I wish they would. I don't know why they don't do any pre-shows no more. That's another thing. They used to have matches for the pre-show. I don't know if they have any more of those right now. B.I. with the shot. Brandon Ingram is going hard. He's came in. Let me stop for a minute about wrestling and talk about Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has played absolutely flawless since this season has started, even though the Pelicans are trying to move him. And here's the deal with that. Brandon Ingram has been playing Chris basketball. So we'll see what happens here as the Warriors got a steal and scored. The Pelicans are not supposed to be having these guys go. Zion goes for a three and misses. Tice with the foul. Ball goes back to the Warriors. And back to what I was saying about wrestling, of course. Let me get back to that. Crown Jewel is going to be very interesting. I think they're going to have it. They got 6 matches, I think. And that's all they have on these cards now. Now, I think Survivor Series is going to be probably a 7-8 match card or something like that. We'll have to see. And another three by the Warriors. The Warriors have tied the game. Steph Curry with his Under Armour on looking. But I don't know if they're ever going to go back to 8 matches on a regular card. Zion again. Zion is playing great as well as the Pelicans are could be a great high playoff team this year. And this is just a back and forth. Prajitsky again ties the game at 66. Let me get back to wrestling. The Final Testament, of course, they abducted the Final Testament did not get abducted. Miz got abducted by the Wyatt Six. So it's going to be the Final Testament against the Wyatt Six. That's coming soon. Chad Gable cost Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee a shot at the tag team titles as well as the New Day. So it's going to be the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day. And I think the War Raiders are going to win. Viking Raiders, War Raiders, whatever their name of the tag team is. I think they're going to win the tag team titles. I think it's time to take the belts off the Judgment Day. You guys took the belts off the Bloodline. So it's time to take the belts off of the War Raiders. I think the War Raiders will probably have a high and a long reign as the tag team champions. I think you should keep them tag team titles until probably WrestleMania and then figure out another way to do it. Do like you did last year and just put both titles on the line. And the winners that win those titles, of course, you know, they're the champions. And the ladder match was very, very, very fun match that they had last year, especially when the Awesome Truth as well as A-Town Down Under won those tag team titles. But Raw was interesting. Selena Vega lost to Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile she should be, you know, somewhere on the under, coming off the under, trying to fight for the WWE Women's World Title. That she should be one of those that's going up against Liv Morgan as well. They need to figure out, if they're not going to put the belt back on Rhea Ripley, they need to figure out who can they have to go up against Liv Morgan for that title. She needs new contenders. You get somebody on the under. I keep saying this. I've been saying this for the last couple of months. Get somebody on the under that is not expected to have a title push. You put her in that push. And that's exactly what I've been saying for the last couple of months. The Warriors have taken the lead, folks. The Warriors are up by 2 points with 6 minutes left in the third quarter over the Pelicans. And this is very interesting to see what the Warriors are going to do. Though they need to call a timeout, because this is not the way. Moses Moody is playing absolutely phenomenal. So I think that if they slow the game down, I think the Pelicans can do what they need to do as they go to commercial. But back to what I was saying about Liv Morgan's contender, somebody that contend for her title. You have got to figure out who else that you could put on the under, because you need to get somebody that's from the under to fight her. Everybody knows that Rhea Ripley is one of the best competitors on the Raw roster. Her, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, those 3 girls right there are the contenders. But see, the problem is that you have all this talent and you don't use it, but for tag team competition. You have Zoe Starks, you have Shayna Baszler, and you have Sonya Deville. Why not put one of them up against Liv Morgan? That's one situation that I see that you could do. You have Abu Fire, who won a title before in WWE. She was the NXT UK Women's Champion. So why not put her in the mix? Or Isla Dawn. You know, you got to have some fresh rivalries for Liv Morgan. You know, Zelina, Ivy Nile, those are some girls that Natalia could be a great contender for her. I'm just saying, you have to think about this. As a the girls that are on the Raw roster, you could even give Carly Sane a shot at the titles, at a title. Just not the tag team titles all the time, but put her in a one-on-one match. She knows how it is to be a champion. She's a former NXT Women's Champion. And I'm not getting that. And that's the same way on SmackDown. Everybody knows that Tiffany Stratton is going to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. But who else besides Bayley is going to challenge her? Naomi is a challenger. Don't get me wrong. Naomi is in line for a women's title match on SmackDown. Not only that, think about this too. Look at the women that you have on SmackDown. You have Jade, you have Bianca, you have Piper, you have Chelsea. You could put Chelsea in that match and have a match between Chelsea and the SmackDown Women's Champion. You've got to think about these things. And that's one thing that I'm not understanding about Hunter. I know that he wants to go with these established stars, but this is the thing he has to do. He has to realize, why are you not giving the unders a shot? And I'll give you another thing. A lot of people are upset about Jey Uso losing the Intercontinental title. A lot of people say it was too soon. Jey Uso did not even have a month, a little over a month as champion, and it was taken away from him. He only had one title defense on television, and that was against Xavier Woods, not against anybody else. Then when he had the fight with Braun Breaker defeated him. So what's going to happen now? Are they going to have a rubber match? They should, but I don't think they're going to put the belt back on Jey Uso right now. That's the reason why they had the Bloodline come to Raw Monday, because of that. That's why they did it. They put the Bloodline on Raw to take the title off of Jey Uso. That's why they did it. And it's hard to say, it's hard to talk about, but it's absolutely the truth. Jey Uso lost that match because of the Bloodline. Think about that for a second. The Bloodline had everything going right for him. Jey Uso had everything going right for him. First ever singles title and all that. And they took the belt off of him because they wanted him to go into a match with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Bad. I think it was a bad move. I think you could have had him fight for the title. I think you could have had him fight for the title, kept the title, and let him win on SmackDown as the Intercontinental Champion. That's just the whole bottom line of it. Somebody's hurt on the Pelicans. No, they're up. Good thing they're up. Yeah, that's good. That is good. Green's up. Everybody thought that Green was injured, but Green's up. Good. Good job. Good job. Excuse me. I say good joy. Good job. But it's just a lot of things that I don't like what's happening with the wrestling right now. I think they could do a little bit better than what they're doing with some of these people they have on there. As far as NXT, next week is going to be ECW's NXT. A lot of people are going to be there. I think Francine's going to be there along with RVD and, of course, Nunzio, a.k.a. Lil Guido. But we're also going to see Bubba Ray Dudley again and teaming up with Trick Williams to go up against to get in the ring with Ridge Holland and Ethan Page. That's the matchup that they're gonna have set for next week on NXT. Jordan Grace was on there tonight as well. Remember, she just lost the TNA Women's title to how you say her name? Masha Slamovich. I want to say her name right. Uh, but Jordan Grace had a tremendous run as the champion. So congratulations to her as well as the Hardys, because the Hardys finally became the TNA Tag Team Champions, and that's good for business for them as well. Um, Everybody thought Joe Henry was going to win the TNA title, but he didn't. Nikki Ziegler, I call him Nikki Ziegler, but Nikki Nemeth is still champion. So that's what we see going on right now. That's what we see happening and things like that in TNA. Um, but, it is what it is when it comes down to things like that. A lot of people are trying to read between the lines and try to figure out what's going on with all the wrestling going on. I do have some complaints about what I'm seeing on wrestling. Uh, I know Kalani Jordan lost her North American women's title to Fallon Henry. I wish they would have just let her win the match, straight up, than to just have her go through a gauntlet to take the belt off of her after you done wore her out. So then after you wear her out, then you do that like that. So I don't get that one bit at all. I don't understand that one bit at all, because I think that, when you think about it, I think that they shouldn't have done that with her. You know what I'm saying? I would have rather her just lost to Fallon Henry straight up, but that's not my hill to climb. That's not my grief. That's with her. She knows what she has to do. She made history and she had a tremendous run as the first ever women's, NXT North American champion. I appreciate that the black girl got her first, chance at it. And I'm not being racist or nothing, because I respect the queen. The young queen finally, was able to, make an accomplishment. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I like about her. I appreciate that for her having that, because NXT now all is, they're doing what they're doing. They're making stars out of the African Americans, like Trick Williams and like Kalani. At one time you had Kalani, you had Kalani, you had Oba, and you had Trick. All three of them were champions, you know. So it's good to see that happen, And I like what I see. I like what I'm seeing, but it is what it is. And hopefully we can see more of that, as we see Crown Jewel coming through, pay-per-views happening. Do I think that Roman Reigns will be champion again? I think he will be champion again, but I think he won't be champion as long as he was this time. He's not going to be holding the title for 4 years. Not this go around. A lot of people are not going to want to see that happen anymore. They got tired of it when Hogan was champion for like 3 or 4 years in WWE back in the day, in the old WWF. They're not going to want to see that. Right now, the longest champion in the business right now is Athena, who's in Ring of Honor, AEW. She's been the Ring of Honor Women's Champion for over a year, and she's been knocking it out the box, and that's great. That's great business for her. Bianca Belair was like a champion for like a year, but I if your champion has a lot of stock and they can maintain not being injured bad for a year, then yes, keep the title on for a year. That's what they did with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was champion for a whole year before, she got injured. Because she probably was going to have a long Roman Reigns run as champion. But they always tell you, chase the title, then go for it. That's what they tell you. The chase is better. Because it means a lot more when you chase the title than when you have it. See, a lot of people like Randy Orton when Randy Orton is chasing for a championship than him being the champion. And that's just my theory on it, you know. So, we'll see what it is. I'm going to yield right now and enjoy the rest of this game. It looks like the Pelicans are trying to creep back in the game. They're down by 7 with 2:11 left in the third quarter. But until then, God bless you. God keep you guys. Have a good night. I'll be back on Wednesday to talk about basketball a little more and about the sports and give you guys your point of view.